My name's Kaditi with the Science Scout, and welcome back to the Science Scout. And might I remind you that this is the last episode in the playlist, Introduction to Solids. In this episode, to finish off strong, we'll be looking at barbecue chips under the microscope. So to finish, let's start looking at these, and let me tell you what you're going to need for this episode. In this episode, you'll of course need a microscope. Remember, it has to be compound. A slide, barbecue chips in a container that is good and will not get damaged, and your first eyepiece that should be on the microscope already, and your second eyepiece. And then you'll of course need your notebook and a pencil.
Galithimo, 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 the Science Scout. Galithimo, 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 the Science Scout.
You need to have your microscope off for now. Make sure you have your first eyepiece on, and move your stage clips out of the way. Make sure your microscope is all the way down on the first objective. You should hear a click if you're not already there. Take your slide and your barbecue chips. Slowly pour them onto the slide, but don't do it too much or else you won't be able to look as easily. And remember to break your barbecue chips up into little crumbs. Try to get them in the center of the slide. And then put your slide onto the stage and don't slide it. Move your stage clips onto your slide. Then turn your microscope on and get ready to look at barbecue chips. First, look into your microscope on objective 1, eyepiece 1. Get it in focus so it'll be easier to look at it and draw a picture or take a picture later. If you need to, look back at your potato chip drawings or pictures so you could see the difference in potato chips that are plain and barbecue chips that have barbecue on them. But we'll look at those later. Move your eyepiece so that we can get the arrow pointed directly onto the chip. When you have that done, switch to eyepiece 2. I'll show you a picture of eyepiece 1. When you have eyepiece 2 on and objective 1 on, look into your eyepiece and get it focused. There's usually not a pointer on this, so don't worry about getting it on the right spot. Take a picture or draw a picture. Here's a picture of what I saw under eyepiece 2, objective 1. When you have it focused and a picture taken, switch to your other eyepiece again. Change to objective 2 and make sure you don't hit the slide. If you are, remember to lower it. Get it in focus so you can see it again. Move your eyepiece to make sure the arrow is in the right spot. Here's a picture. Then switch to eyepiece 2 to make sure you're looking at objective 2 and eyepiece 2. Mine's getting a little blurry and unclear, so I might not be able to move on to objective 3, but just in case I will. So switch your eyepieces again and go to objective 3. But I'll show you a picture of objective 2, eyepiece 2. I had to lower my stage some, so I'm pretty sure I will be able to look at objective 3. But I'll try to get it to focus. I got as close as I could, but I still couldn't get it. So this would be objective 2 material for me. Maybe you could get objective 3, or maybe you couldn't. I don't know. So we're going to record it in our notebook. But just to make sure you know what you should not see, unless you're too unclear, here is a picture of objective 3 for me in eyepiece 1. But again, I couldn't get that, so this is what you should not see unless you're too blurry. Once you have your microscope pictures taken or drawn, carefully turn off your microscope and lower the stage completely. Move your objectives to objective 1. Make sure you hear the click. Move your stage clips off of your slide. Carefully take your slide up and then out of the way without sliding your slide. Put your barbecue chips into your container. Later on, rinse off your slide so that way you can use it again and make sure it completely dries. I recommend putting it on paper towels when you finish so you won't get any remains of any other towel or pieces of paper or cloth onto your slide. Dump your barbecue chips out into a trash can. I recommend rinsing out your container so you can use it again for science. Make sure your eyepiece is in a safe spot and make sure you have eyepiece 1 on your microscope. Put the lid on your box or whatever you're holding it on and put this in a safe spot. Put your stage clips back on your microscope correctly and double check to make sure it's off and everything is in the starting position for your next step. And then put it on a safe spot and put the dust cover on. This will be the routine we use for all of our videos. So make sure you remember it, and if you need to, write a to-do list in your notebook so you understand what to do each time. Now let's start recording in our notebook. Start off by making sure you have the correct page number written. Then write microscope, barbecue chips, and then a colon, the science scale. So remember, this means you looked at barbecue chips under the microscope and you got this from the science scale. Then put the date 11-17-19 or November 17th, 2019. Flip to whatever page number you have available and what is written on this paper. When you flipped to that page, write the date in the top left corner or whatever page is opposite from your page number. Make sure you're on the correct page number, and if you need to, go back and record it on the table of contents. Write November 17th, 2019, and write microscope, barbecue chips, the science scale. And then I'll show you what to do next. After you have that written down, write the statement, in this episode, Gal looks at barbecue chips under the microscope, and then parentheses, objective 1 and 2, and in another parentheses or brackets, E2. This means that we looked at barbecue chips under the microscope, and you got it to objective 1 and 2 with eyepiece 2. If you got it to 3, add objective 1, 2, and 3. If you only got it to eyepiece 1, then write eyepiece 1. Or if you only got to objective 1, you would write objective 1 and then whatever eyepiece you got to, whether it's E1 or E2, eyepiece 1 or eyepiece 2. This would be for every video, so I will not go over this in the next video as detailedly. When you have your statement written, skip a line and write eyepiece 1 and in parentheses 10x, and then a dash. This means that we started with eyepiece 1, which is 10x or 10 magnification. Skip another line and write objective 1, 4x, because objective 1 is 4x, and in brackets write 40x because objective 1 times eyepiece 1 would be 40x, since objective 1 is 4x, eyepiece 2 is 10x, so 4 times 10 would be 40x. Then glue or draw your picture here, and don't forget to label it. Do this for the rest of the eyepieces and objectives. When you're finished, you should have your starting sentence, your eyepiece 1, objective 1 with a labeled picture, eyepiece 2, objective 1, eyepiece 1, objective 2 with all the labeled pictures. If you turn it over, remember to write your title again with continue after it, and then the date, eyepiece 2, objective 2 with the labeled picture. And then I wrote final because that was my last time to do it. And then you should have, if you got there, eyepiece 1 to objective 3. And then I put my picture because I wanted to show you what not to look for. And then I labeled it. And then I wrote, from this video, I got a review of the second eyepiece and got to compare potato chips to barbecue potato chips. Because then, if you go back to your original ones, these are just plain ones, and you could tell that the barbecue ones have an orange tint to it. If you would like to compare more, I'll have a worksheet about that, so please go to theradstuff.wordpress.com and don't forget to get my new magazine that's coming out in December. If you would like more information, go to theradstuff.wordpress.com or cnnpetcare.wordpress.com, and it'll have an email address you can email to ask more questions there too. I hope you enjoyed this playlist of the Rad Stuff Introduction to Solids. The next playlist will be Introduction to Liquids, and we'll do that in a few weeks. So get ready to get more science in. And liquids under the microscope. Come back soon for more rad stuff in the Science Gal. Don't forget to get a new magazine, and your first one's free. I'll be back soon because I'm going to eat with the Science Gal.